Hello, welcome back, friends. It's Anders. Today we are making my top 5 bourbon cocktails. This is a quick list video, all tasty, I guarantee it. Every bartender gets asked what their favorite drink is. And for years, I've been trying to think what my favorite drink is, and it changes all the time. It depends on a lot of things. Time of year, time of day, what I'm in the mood for. But I've decided to break my drinks down into categories, and these are my top 5 bourbon drinks currently. There's Freya. Freya won't have any bourbon drinks, but she's here for support. Good girl. Good girl. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button for more sips, tips, and recipes, and let's go make 5 delicious bourbon cocktails to the bar. Number 1, the Old Fashioned. Now, some of you may have seen this coming. I enjoy an Old Fashioned with pretty much any base spirit, but a bourbon Old Fashioned is special. I'm gonna show you how I make it. In a mixing glass, start with a small piece of orange, drop that right in, add 1/4 ounce of a rich Demerara syrup, that's 2 parts sugar to 1 part water, and 4 dashes of Angostura Bitters. Now, if you have a small dasher bottle like I do, you're gonna wanna double up, so I'm doing 8 dashes of this little dasher bottle. To that, add 2 ounces of bourbon, add ice and stir to chill and dilute about 30 seconds or so, then grab a chilled glass and drop in a giant ice lump, strain the cocktail onto the ice, express orange oil across the top, garnish with an orange peel and a cocktail cherry. Cheers. How can you not like a classic old fashioned? Sweet Demerara. I specifically like the Demerara with this, and you get a touch of orange. This one has been in my top 5 for many years. A solid start. So on to the next. Number 2. The Whiskey Sour. The Whiskey Sour brightens up the bourbon with fresh lemon and egg white. Technically, this would be a Boston Sour. Originally, there wasn't the egg white. The Boston Sour had the egg white, but since it's become pretty standard to put egg white into your whiskey sours. To make this one in a shaking tin, we'll start with half an egg white, although I will put a full egg white in sometimes if you want a little bit more foam. To that, add 1/2 ounce of a rich Demerara syrup, 2 ounces of bourbon, 3/4 of fresh lemon juice, dry shake it, meaning shake it up with no ice for about 10 to 15 seconds. Then we can add ice and shake, again, another 15 seconds. Double strain into a cocktail glass, express lemon oil across the top. I like to give it a little tap and let that foam settle because we want a little foam platform on the top where we can do 3 drops of Angostura Bitters. And then with a pick, you can make a fancy design like little hearts. And there we have the Whiskey Sour. Cheers. Oh, I should mention, you can do this without the egg. Sub 3/4 ounce of aquafaba, or just leave the egg out altogether and you won't have the fluffiness. But the texture is really nice. So anyway, cheers. Ooh, zingy. It's like lemon meringue pie if you made lemon meringue pie with bourbon. You get this silky texture, which brings down the brightness of the citrus, but it still is lively and fresh. And then these wonderfully sweet, woody notes from the bourbon. What's also great about the Whiskey Sour is there are numerous renditions. If you were to float a little bit of red wine on top, you got a New York Sour. If you were to omit the egg white and swap out the sweetener for honey, then you have a Gold Rush. On to the next one, number 3, the Artist Special. Now this one is, I guess, technically a riff on a Whiskey Sour, and I make it with bourbon. However, this is a classic that was originally made with blended scotch. To make this cocktail in a shaking tin, start with 1 ounce of bourbon. To that, add 1 ounce of an Amontillado sherry, 3/4 ounce of Grosseia syrup, which is a red currant syrup. I will leave a recipe in the description down below if you want to make it yourself. If you don't have red currant syrup, a good quality grenadine will do the trick. Then add 3/4 ounce of fresh lemon juice, give it a shake, and double strain into a chilled cocktail glass. If you'd like, you can express lemon oil across the top, but no garnish necessary. The Artist Special. Cheers. That's really good. The sherry with that red currant syrup, you have the sweetness and the tartness from the syrup and the lemon juice, and then the dryness of the sherry leaves you with this savory note that is awesome in this drink, and then that bourbon base. We try the same recipe with a blended scotch and you will still be happy. On to number 4. What's number 4? Oh, number 4. The Deshler. This is another cocktail that was not initially made with bourbon. In fact, the way that I make this drink, I swap out all of the ingredients so that it is different than the original version. Can you still call it a Deshler? That's something we address in another video. To make my Deshler, in a mixing glass, start with 1 orange swath, express the oils in there, drop it in, then 1 lemon swath, express the oils, drop it in. So now we can add 2 ounces of bourbon, 1 ounce of Lillet Rouge, 1/2 ounce of Curacao, and 2 dashes of Peychaud's Bitters. Again, I'm using the smaller dasher bottle, so I'm gonna do 4 dashes. 2 dashes of the regular Peychaud's Bitters bottle will be fine. Add ice and stir. about 30 seconds, give or take. Strain that off into a chilled glass, express orange oil across the top, and garnish with the orange peel. Cheers. Ooh, I haven't had this one in a while. It's good, it's bold, and it's fruity without being a sour cocktail. Originally it was made with Dubonnet Rouge. Try it with the Dubonnet, it's also very good. But something about the plumminess of the Lillet Rouge is really special in this drink. I'm gonna take one more sip and then we can finish this up and you can go about your day. Finally, number 5, the Boulivardier. The Boulivardier is really, truly outstanding. And it's funny because we haven't done a video on this cocktail before. Think of a bourbon Negroni. The ratios are a little bit heavier on the bourbon than the classic Negroni ratios, but we're not even gonna talk about that because my Negroni ratios are the same as the Boulivardier, whatever. To make the Boulivardier, let's start in a mixing glass with 1.5 ounces of bourbon. To that, add 3/4 of an ounce of Campari and 3/4 of an ounce of sweet vermouth. Add ice and stir, strain it off into a fancy ornate cocktail glass, or any glass. You could even pour this over the rocks, it's gonna be good, but I'm choosing to do a fancy ornate cocktail glass. Now to finish this one up, we are going to flame some orange oil across the top. If you don't know how to do that, check out my garnish video. Ooh la la, the Boulivardier. Cheers. There's nothing wrong with that. These are the classic ratios. I've altered nothing because it is perfection. Bitterness from the Campari, richness from the sweet vermouth, again, the woody notes from the bourbon. There's a little bit of sweetness from the Campari too. Perfect one to end on. It's a stronger cocktail. There it is, my top 5 favorite bourbon cocktails. Let me know what some of your favorites are in the comments down below. Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed this. Don't forget your merch. I will see you next time. Cheers. Hey everybody, I'm here with Freya. We are talking favorite cocktails. Freya, what are some of your favorite drinks? Oh, yeah. Okay. Thank you so much for your time. Back to the studio.